Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's your boy, Football Talk. And today, your boy will be reacting to Madden 26 cover and new information revealed. Now, I did see the new, no, not, yeah, I did see the cover. I also did see the behind the scenes of how they set up the shot. If you have not checked it out, follow EA's Madden Instagram account, because it was absolutely crazy, man. I cannot wait to see what more information we got. Without further ado, though, let's jump right into this. Let's go.
Dropped the covers for Madden NFL 26, and they also dropped a very little bit of info that we're going to talk about in this video. I was also down at EA last week and got to see all of the new things that are coming to Madden 26.
I can't wait to see the first trailer.
I can't get too specific on certain things because they do want to wait until the deep dives and all that stuff roll out, but I can definitely touch on some things and let you know like where the game is headed. We could talk about some of the brief info that EA let out today, and we'll look at the covers. Now, if you are new to the channel and you don't want to miss out on any important videos, make sure to subscribe and turn the bell icon on, because pretty much every week until the release of this game, we're going to be getting trailers, deep dives, lots of information, gameplay videos, tons of stuff. You don't want to miss out on any of that, so make sure you're subbed with the bell icon on. So let's take a look at the covers. We've got
This is
so
clean.
of Madden NFL 26, which was kind of a no-brainer in my opinion. The only reason I thought maybe he wouldn't be on the cover is because maybe they didn't want to do back-to-back running backs, because I believe they've never done that before. But I mean, after the year he had, there was no better candidate.
Yeah,
and number 26.
not even close.
I mean, I remember
I did not even realize that he wears 26 and it's Madden 20. I mean, come on, like it was meant to be, you know what I mean? That looks so good, man. It was a number one, I mean, it was a top play in the top 100 plays for obvious reasons, cuz that is still something that I don't even think that a lot of people appreciate when it happened, because when it happened it's like, wait, did he really do that? Like, this is real? Like, this. Nah, somebody playing Madden 25 doing the simulation, cause ain't no way. What?
It was the same way I thought Derrick Henry should have been on the cover that year, because that's the year that he ran for like 2,000 yards, went crazy, and he was number 22, so it just made sense. They didn't do it this year, but they didn't miss the opportunity with Saquon. They even put the backwards hurdle as the standard cover, which, I mean, it's pretty cool because it's one of the more unique things we've seen done in an NFL game, and it's actually in Madden.
Facts. Well, so is an iconic
now,
thing.
Funny enough, you'll notice that they don't have the Jags logo on the helmet, and you know that's really just because at the end of the day, no team wants their logo on the cover of such a big product and looking silly, so that's kind of just like out of EA's.
I mean, the Jazz did to themselves. They always look silly.
Looking silly on the cover of the game, but we all know what team he did it to, so either way, it doesn't really matter. Now, the deluxe cover is pretty cool in my opinion. I personally prefer the deluxe better. I mean, obviously the hurdle is cool, but when it comes to covers for me, I'm just more of a fan of the more kind of photoshopped, edited covers versus in-game shots. I just think for me it looks better as a cover, but obviously they're both pretty cool. I'm sure if you're an
I like this too.
Standard cover just because it actually happened in game.
It's like, are you ready? Are you sure you want to tackle me?
Reveal today. Not much, but they did say on Twitter, they said signature QB tendencies, unique coaching schemes, game-changing weather, experience it all in Madden 26. Now that's very vague, and that's just a very few things that they actually did.
Game-changing weather? I wonder what that's about. What that is about.
I know what all this means because I went down there, but I don't want to get too specific yet because they asked us not to. But signature QB tendencies, just think about what that means. It's the most popular position in all of sports. What would that mean? It probably means things to do with how they throw the ball, how they release the ball, maybe mannerisms and things like that.
Yeah, they did something like that last year, I do believe, and the year before.
Major QBs, like how they walk up to the line, how they ask,
like Dak and Doom,
how they audible, making them look like their real life selves. Well, I mean, this is just them taking it a step further now. How are they going to actually play on the field? How do they run? How do they throw? That's what signature QB tendencies pretty much means, right? It really can't mean anything else. unique coaching schemes. Now, I know what this means. I can't really get too deep on it yet, but just think of what unique coaching schemes actually mean. And this is really, in my opinion, a bigger thing for like the franchise crowd, because you're going to kind of see coaches be more like their real selves. And they've definitely said this in the past, don't get me wrong, but I think they kind of got it right this year, but we have to see when the game actually drops, because that's always the other half of it. And game-changing weather. We know weather in Madden has been an area that has been kind of lacking. I mean, they got the standard weather,
Yeah,
but we
that's
need better
true.
weather, and we need the weather to affect the
The
gameplay.
snow,
So
the
think about
snow
what game-changing weather means.
needs to
Can't
be
wait for you guys
updated.
to actually see how cool that stuff is, because it's kind of those things you wish we would have had a long time ago, but now that we have it, I'm happy that it's here, and you'll see just how cool that stuff is. Now, I do want to speak a little more about what I saw when I was at EA. Again, can't get too specific, but what I can say is, and trust me, I'm not trying to hype you guys up here when I say what I'm about to say, because I've been doing this for a long time now, and I'm
This is
kind of
so
getting
cool.
better
Like,
at
I
seeing how
love to
things
see the
unfold,
behind
right?
the scenes
EA
of
and Madden
things.
has the reputation it has for a reason. Now, I do think over the last few
Yeah,
years,
that's
they're
true.
trying to right those
I
wrongs of
definitely
that
think that
reputation, but
they
we
have
went so
made big
long
steps
without
into
putting some of the
improving.
necessary changes that the game
I
needed,
know
or just not
everybody
doing things
want to
that you
say,
did
"Oh, it's
really
the same
well
game, it's
on
the
older
same game."
generations. You can't really fault people.
I gotta say this for the people that keep on saying it's the exact same game. Stop playing the exact same mode. How about that? All you play is Ultimate Team. That's all you play. Like a lot of the changes are like offline changes. Not everybody wants to play just Ultimate Team. So stop sitting there and saying the game is like the same thing every year, but you keep on playing the same exact mode every single year. Like, of course you're not gonna find anything new. You keep on playing the same. Like, I can't stand the Madden community sometimes, man. When it comes to
For not having much confidence in the game. And even though you have been adding a lot of things back over the last few years, it's still not where people thought it should be at this time. So I get that. The other thing is, no matter how much you add, no matter how many changes, you put on paper, you still have to deliver it in the game. So you can add a bunch of cool things, but if some of them don't work properly in game, or they just weren't implemented great, it's kind of going to fall on its face there. So what I can say is, I went to EA this year way more excited to hear about College Football 26. Madden 26 was kind of just extra at this point. Even though I started my channel on Madden, I'm much more excited about college. I'm much more excited to make college content last year and this year. I went in there, I saw the college presentation on the first day, was really happy with what I saw. I was like, yes, they're building on what was already a good game in 25, adding a lot of things that people wanted that wasn't there, tweaking some of the issues that were there. We're good. We're on schedule to be another good game. Then I go in on day 2 for Madden, and I'm like, I just hope to walk away from this pleased, but let's see. And all I'll say is I was blown away at what Madden saw. I think personally, Madden
oh
won
wow,
the presentation of the 2 days. Now, again, that doesn't mean that college didn't do good. It did, but
what they
I think
won the
because Madden was
presentation on
just
the
further away, or was
what?
further away, that they had a lot more
Oh,
things that
I'm
they
ready,
could do.
baby.
And typically we kind of get spoon-fed stuff. Some years they do more than others, but what they showed this year, gameplay, they did a lot of good stuff, but what really surprised me was franchise presentation, even superstar mode to a degree. Superstar mode is
Ooh,
still gonna
okay,
have a couple years before it's great, I
okay,
think,
yeah,
but
I
the
see
changes they
you.
made to superstar and kind of resetting some things and taking a different path with it, I think they're doing the right thing there. But franchise and presentation by far blew me away, because they just finally added so much stuff that we've been asking for. And it really felt to me like it wasn't 1 year worth of work that went into this game. It felt like it was more like 3 development cycles that went into this game, because I just couldn't believe the amount of stuff they added. Now, again, I'm not trying to hype you up, because just because they added a bunch of stuff, we have to see how that plays when it comes out. That's what I've learned. You
Yeah,
can
that's
add a lot
true.
of
You
things,
do
but
gotta
it
see.
hits the game and then it's,
But it's
shallow,
also
and
great
it's
to
not
hear
as
as
good as what
well.
they kind of sold it as. Or if some things are just buggy and don't work right, well, it's not going to matter that much. And so that's really the big thing, and I hope that when the game comes out that those things do work properly. But I do think you guys will be pretty happy when you see the franchise and presentation deep dives, which will be coming out pretty soon. Like I said, on paper, it sounds like a home run. It just depends on how it's actually implemented, how things are when the game is out. But if you can think of like everything that you've been wanting in franchise, or everything you've been wanting in terms of presentation, I think a lot of them are going to be there this year. If you could make a list of like your top 20 to 30 things, I think most of those things are going to be there. Now, I don't know what every single person wants, every little detail that every single person wants. Everybody wants different things, but all of the big stuff that you've kind of wanted in Madden, I mean, even going back to decades ago, things that were never in Madden, just think about what that can mean. Things that have never been in Madden that were maybe in a game years ago. Things that you've been asking for from a franchise and presentation standpoint that have never been in the game. I would say a lot of those things are in the game now. I'm not going to say every single one, but I think of almost anything you can think of. I would say at least 80% of the things you could think of, like big things that you
Okay,
really
that's
wanted,
good.
they're
I
in the
like
game
that.
now. And I was surprised to see, because even if they would have showed half of what they
Bruh,
did, I
I'm
still would have said
super
that's pretty
excited for
solid.
Madden
That's a
26.
good amount of stuff added this year. But the amount of
I'm
stuff they
I'm
showed,
I'm
really,
loving what
like,
I'm
I'm not really
hearing.
trying to hype it up. I want you guys just to see it when it comes out for yourselves. But it's just my honest opinion on it. I really think that, when they said, oh, this is the biggest franchise update in a decade, I know that doesn't mean that much because there were plenty of years during that decade where much wasn't done, but they put a lot of stuff in the
Yeah,
game
that's
this year.
true.
I mean, I think you guys are gonna be excited. If
I
you're
love
not,
that
then
they
I'm at
are
the point
keep
where I
on
don't know
showing
what really excites you.
franchise love.
That's truly how confident I feel that
Cause
that
I
at least
felt
the
like
information
years
alone
past
will excite you. Again,
it was
seeing it in
more so
practice
about like
is
the
the other
online
half of the
aspect.
puzzle, and I've kind of grown to learn that you've got to nail that half too. You can't just, it's not enough to just put it in the game. It's got to all flow and work well, and it's got to matter, and I think they did a good job of making things matter, of making, this is one thing they said that I feel like I can say, is that like their goal was to make kind of every week feel unique. And that was, I think, something they've never really said before. And I think that's the right approach, because when you play franchise mode, I don't play it as much as some of you do, but I think that's where it gets boring. It's not so much just depth, but it's that every week kind of feels very similar. Yes, you're playing a different team. There's some small differences, but it doesn't feel like every week is truly a unique experience, whether that be just who you're playing, how the coaches are, what you're dealing with as a team and your players, and, the other adversities you might face running a franchise, right? It doesn't really feel like week to week much changes. It feels like you're just kind of going through the motions, checking some boxes, and just playing the same game, but the other team is just wearing a different uniform, right? And from what they showed, it just doesn't look like that's the case this year. It looks like everything is unique. Everybody's going to have different experiences. You're not just checking a bunch of boxes. And it kind of makes sense if you know who Josh Lumen is. I mean, they brought him back a couple years ago, and I remember when I heard him talk last year, I was like, this guy
Why does
gets it.
that name
Franchise
sound
will
so
be good
familiar?
sooner rather than later now that this guy's back. He worked on some of the great PS2 Maddens, I believe. He was the guy who did the head
Ah,
coach series, which we know
okay.
how deep that was. Like, that's your guy working on franchise
Yeah,
now. So,
I've
if
never
anybody
played a
knows what
head
people
coach
want,
like
it's
the
him.
actual
And
game.
year one, he did some good things, but to see what they
It's
did from
crazy
year
to
one to
know
year
that
two,
there was an
I
actual
can't
game
believe they were able to
for
make that
head
big of a
coaches.
jump. So, I'm just excited for the deep dive for franchise and presentation mostly to come out, because I do think you guys are going to be super excited when you see what they've done. Kind of rambling at this point, but I just feel really passionate about what I actually saw. And again, just really at this point, I just hope that when the game drops, it actually works as intended, because that, at the end of the day, is the biggest thing.
Yep,
Now,
that's
we
what
did also
matters.
recently just get a bunch of info about college football 26, and if you want to catch up
Okay.
on that, make sure to check.
Also I did check that out. So if you have not checked that out, it's on my channel right now. But I was already excited coming into this, like I am every year for Madden. But I'm really, really excited now hearing from Eric Rayweather that like it's gonna be a lot of exciting things coming. But like he also said, they have to show us. You know what I mean? 50% is adding it and telling us about it. The other 50% is us actually seeing it, playing it, and experiencing it for ourselves. So man, oh man, I'm super excited. Let me know in the comments below, what are you most excited for Madden 26. Love you guys, and see you guys in the next one.